rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for America first will settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for America first will settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Meta agreed Wednesday to pay $17 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms as part of a landmark legal settlement. At a news conference, California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the settlement is a watershed moment.
Meta has agreed to make significant changes that will reduce the risk of harm that Instagram and Facebook pose to teen users. Daily time limits and blocks on nighttime use that can only be lifted by a parent, limits on notifications during school hours and overnight, an end to displaying the number of likes on a teen's post.
If approved by the court, the deal will stop an avalanche of litigation by states against Meta, although the company still faces lawsuits from individuals and school districts across the U.S. Shrouded in secrecy, there was a visit to Moscow by CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe held talks in Moscow with his intelligence counterparts. The rare visit comes at a time when relations with Washington remain strained over Russia's war in Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesman says Ratcliffe did not meet with President Putin, and there's been no comment from Washington. The Kremlin stresses that Russia-U.S. relations remain in a profound crisis. Their ties sank to Cold War lows after Moscow's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Rich Thomason, Washington.
The U.S. and Canada have ramped up their trade war, hitting each other with steep new tit-for-tat tariffs. Despite the bravado coming from both sides of the border over the past few days, though, analysts suspect the longtime allies will eventually strike a deal to end a conflict that neither really wants. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 113 points, the Nasdaq dropped 21, the S&P 500 down by a point. This is SRN News. Illinois doctors get a reprieve.
The state says it will abide by a court order that bars it from forcing Catholic hospitals and other religious medical practitioners from carrying out or being involved in assisted suicide. Illinois recently legalized the practice, putting some doctors, nurses, and institutions in a position of having to choose between their faith and the law. Peter Breen of the Thomas More Society says, quote, "We will not rest until Illinois' immoral and coercive assisted suicide mandate is struck down for good." Michael Harrington reporting.
Family Research Council President Tony Perkins is just back from a trip to Ukraine where he delivered an address before the National Prayer Breakfast. The gathering included high-level Ukrainian officials. Perkins told the gathering 35 years ago Ukraine swept away atheistic communism, but what has taken its place? Now is the moment for Ukraine to fan the flame of faith in Jesus Christ. This is SRN News.
Israel is a critical ally of ours, and I think most people understand the necessity of this funding. They're fighting for their very existence. They're the only stable democracy in the Middle East. I mean, of course, for those of us who are believers, it's a biblical admonition to stand with Israel. We will, and they will prevail as long as they're with them. And this is an important, very important symbolic gesture and a very important replenishment of their stockpiles, for example, of the Iron Dome. The reason they shot down all those drones and missiles in the last attack by Iran is because we assisted with that. I think the American people understand the importance of that.
Paperweight sitting on my desk. You know what that paperweight's going to be? It's going to be a piece of the ballroom after we all blow it up. That's what it's going to be. In an official ceremony, just so we're clear. In an official ceremony, we're going to blow it up, and we're going to get the taxpayers their money back by selling all the pieces as paperweights, and I will have one.
Above all else, the effort to commandeer the U.S. Postal Service in a shameful act to turn it into a voter suppression war machine against the citizens of the United States is both unlawful and unconstitutional. That the Constitution gives the president no authority to have done this. That the U.S. Postal Service final rule is not only based on an unlawful executive order, but frankly violates the federal laws that govern the U.S. Postal Service. So yes, I do think time will tell. And what it will tell is a sad tale of an administration insistent on making it harder for you to vote and easier for them to cheat because you have an unpopular president whose party is otherwise going to lose the elections. What time will tell is that this is going to be misused and abused to create a permission structure to challenge elections that Republicans lose fair and square. What time will tell is that election deniers, advocates of the big lie, will cite this case as proof that somehow there was fraud when in fact there was none, that somehow there was cheating when this opinion doesn't say that. And shame on the U.S. Supreme Court because they know that that will happen. And they either want that to take place or they simply don't care. My job as a lawyer is to set all of this aside and to take the law as it is. We have this decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. We have been told that it was premature for the states to bring their case. Presumably, this will also result in the lifting of a similar injunction also issued in Massachusetts in favor of a bunch of nonprofit organizations. Now, that's not self-executing, so we're going to have to wait and see if that happens, and if so, how quickly. But from my standpoint as a lawyer representing parties that are injured by this, well, we're not giving up. We cannot let the cynics win. We cannot let Donald Trump prevail because people like you and me simply give up. Now's not the time to give up. It is to double down and to triple down and to make sure that we do everything in our power to protect free and fair elections in this November and for years to come. And what that means is that in the coming days and weeks, you will see more litigation in this case, and more litigation in other cases, trying to make sure that the administration cannot cheat its way into holding power that the American people takes away from it. Look, if there's one thing you can do, is you can share good information about what just happened. Don't buy into the lies. Don't buy into the conspiracy theories. Don't let Donald Trump own this now.
Are you tired of weak, woke, whisper politics? Then buckle up, America, because Killer Carl is here, turning politics all the way up for the America First movement. We're exposing the swamp, crushing the globalists, and fighting for the forgotten men and women who built this country. Killer Carl, the most unapologetic, high-octane political show on radio. It'll make your blood pump and your neighbors wake up.
All right, welcome to the Killer Carl Radio Show Wednesday night. Thank you for joining me. And I know what you're saying, Carl, why would you make me listen to Larry Krasner and Mark Elias? Well, because I want to rub your nose in it. I want to rub your nose in the fact that here we are, we hold the House, the Senate, the White House, all three branches of government, and we have done nothing to hold these scoundrels accountable. We've allowed them to get away with controlling the narrative. We have allowed John Thune to install Darlene Graham and somehow suck President Trump into the narrative. That's where we are, folks. Right? The GOP, unfortunately, it's not who you vote for. It's who they want as their candidate. We saw that in Minnesota with Royce White, where they stuck in Michelle Tafoya. We saw it in Ohio, where they stuck in Vivek Ramaswamy instead of Heather Hill. We saw it. See, the GOP doesn't want to win. They want to put in lackluster candidates that they can control. Like Darlene Graham. We know nothing about her. Frankly, in the debate, she seemed dumb as a box of rocks. I'm not going to lie. But we're stuck with her, right? Oh, you have no choice. If you don't vote for Darlene Graham, well, you're going to hand the country over to the communists. That's what we hear. That's what they cram down your throat. That's what angers me so much about the GOP. They did it here in Pennsylvania with Stacey Garrity, taking Doug Mastriano. And I don't care what you think about Doug Mastriano, but they ripped him out. And they inserted their candidate of choice, Stacey Garrity. And that's how we end up in a situation where we have voters that feel disenfranchised. They don't want to show up. They don't want to show up to the polls because they feel like they've gotten nothing. Who have we held accountable? Nobody. Nobody. But you had Hakeem Jeffries basically telling you the other night, if you watch my show, oh, anybody in the Trump administration, they're going to be held accountable for their actions. See, that's the problem we have. The GOP, they don't want fighters. They want controllable quislings that they can tell what to do. You know, everybody's saying, oh, President Trump chose Darlene Graham because he's going to be able to tell her how to vote. No, my friends, no. John Thune's going to be able to tell her how to vote. John Thune controls the purse strings of Darlene Graham's re-election. That's the reality of it. They view President Trump as a lame duck, and somehow they rope him into this ridiculous nonsense of believing that that he has to promote these candidates, right, out of loyalty. Lindsey Graham. Oh, you got to just go with Lindsey Graham's sister. Right? You got to go with Lindsey Graham's sister because, well, you know, she's the preferred candidate. You got to be loyal, President Trump. And that's the problem we're at. It's the problem we're at right now with the GOP. They did it to Heather Hill. They did it to Doug Mastriano. They did it to my good friend Royce White. They did it to Mike Landell. It's the disenfranchisement of the GOP voter, and they don't care because they're gonna leave you with, oh, you want to hand your country over to the communist if you don't vote for, Darlene Graham. Well, you're just you're failing America. You're failing America. You're part of the problem. Gotta rally up behind these GOP lackluster do-nothing candidates. Right? That'll disappoint you. And that's the problem we have in the midterms. That's what scares me so much. And you take Trump and the Iran war, which I'm against, out of it. Take the high gas prices. Take the fact that he talked about Argentina cattle, and helping out the Argentinian people and the government and how they're dying. You know that clip. I could play it over and over again. Take that out of the equation. What is the GOP, the Senate, what have they done? What have they done? Who have they held accountable? Is John Brennan still on CNN? Is James Comey still living in his house? Of course. And they're not afraid. Right, but I guarantee you if the shoe was on the other foot, because we already saw it. We saw it with the J6ers. We saw it with what they did to General Flynn. We saw it what they did to Carter Page. Many people in the Trump administration, they ruined their lives. Jenna Ellis, all of them. They ruined their lives through lawfare. Now, we're coming up to the first commercial break. After this commercial break, we're going to have my good friend Larry Burnett and Pat Manley. He's running for lieutenant governor of Ohio with Heather Hill. Right? These are candidates you can get behind. Salt of the earth. They're not going to toe the party line. With that being said, we'll be back after this commercial break on the Killer Carl Radio Show.
The shadows we rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for America first will settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we strive. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for America first will settle the score. Populism's ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar for America first. We'll we rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war for America first. We'll settle the shore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar for America first. We'll rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war for America first. We'll settle the shore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar for America first. We'll folks, welcome back. Listen, if you're not following me on social media, you're missing out on the video that goes along with the Butter song, right? You find me on Getter, Killer Carl Radio. Find me on Rumble, Radio Killer Carl. Find me on Facebook, Carl Brown. Find me on X, Radio Killer Carl. Look, you got to join the live stream. You got to join the chats.
And we'll be opening up the phone lines in the 8 o'clock hour. The number is 484-939-9822 if you want to be part of the show. With that being said, before we bring in Pat Manley and my good friend Larry Barnett, the only reason we stay on air, right, is because of the advertisers of the Killer Carl radio show. There's a lot of people that want to silence me. There's a lot of people that don't want my message out there. Why? Because I speak the truth. The GOP doesn't like it. The Democrats don't like it. The DSA don't like it. They want to silence me. The only way I stay on the air is if you support my sponsors, ironbeancoffee.com. Ironbeancoffee.com, the best cup of coffee you will ever have in your life. I personally guarantee it. Got to go there. They roast the coffee. They don't roast it daily. They roast it when you order it and then ship it to your door. They have all types of different flavors. They have great merch. They have all types of great stuff on their site. Go to ironbeancoffee.com. And Meraki Medicinal. Listen, I drink methylene blue every single day. Every single day I drink it. Why? Because it gives me mental clarity. It prepares me for this show. Think about it. I'm doing 6 days of media, right? I've got the weeknight show now, 7 to 9, and then I've got the radio show on Saturday morning. That's an hour. I've got to be mentally sharp, prepared. I've got to be booking guests. And the only way I can do that is with methylene blue from Meraki Medicinal. What does it do? It gives you mental clarity. It also acts on a cellular level, and it stops illness. You want to know what? My wife doesn't take the methylene blue. And she was watching my grandkids, and I was watching them, and she's sick. I'm not. My son's sick. I'm not. Why? Methylene blue, baby. That's why. Because I've been around so many sick people the prior year and this year, and I am absolutely feeling amazing. Absolutely feeling amazing. You absolutely have to try this product. Go to MerakiMedicinal.com, MerakiMedicinal.com. With that being said, let's bring in our guests. We've got my man, Larry Burnett, and Patrick Manley. Patrick, how you doing, my friend?
Great, Carl. I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Thanks, Carl.
Oh, Larry's my brother, right?
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Pat.
And, Patrick, I don't know if you caught any of my opening monologue, but it's just so funny to me, right? So we have these two parties, right? The two-party system, the Democrats, the Republicans. And I'm a conservative, right? I'm 100% conservative. I'm not conservative. You know what I am? I'm America first. That's what I care about. America first. And I see the GOP, and I saw it in South Carolina, and I called it as soon as Darlene Graham came out, right? And John Thune was like, oh, yes, I love her. I knew that was somebody that I don't want in the Senate, right? Because people have to realize, U.S. senators, they affect everybody, right? Every state is affected by the U.S. Senate, right? But in your case, right, in Heather Hill's case, and I've interviewed Heather on my Saturday morning radio show, and she's an absolute fighter, absolute no nonsense, not going to toe the party line. If something's wrong, she's going to just call it out and push back against it. Like the Haitian problem you have going on in Ohio. And they don't want that. They don't want fighters. Royce White, a good friend of mine, they iced him out. Why? Because he's a fighter. They don't want fighters. They want people that'll capitulate and go along with the narrative. And it demoralizes the base. So I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, what do we do? What do we do, right? Because we're getting crammed down our throat. If you don't vote for Vivek, because what they're going to do with Heather Hill, by the way, is they're going to be like, oh, you're going to split the vote, and you're going to hand the state to a Democrat. That's exactly what they're going to start, because they're threatened by her. They're going to start that, right?
I agree.
So that's what the GOP does. So how do we combat that? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you, Carl. I'm a small business owner. I'm an architect. I'm originally from Appalachia, as is Heather. And I'm originally from Eastern Ohio, a little town called Shadyside, right on the Ohio River, just south of Wheeling. And I live in Columbus, on the north side of Columbus right now. Been here for a long time. I went to Ohio State. Most of my activities and my business revolve around architectural design, but mostly construction. I'm heavily involved in construction activities and have been for a long time. So I spend the majority of my day out of the office around construction workers and people getting their hands dirty. And, even though technically I have an office job, I've never lost that other part of my life. And I've continued to stay in contact with friends and family who live in the Ohio Valley. And like Heather, if I can venture into this a little bit, talk more about her than me, but I had originally met Heather back in June of last year. And how that came about is I had commented on Facebook, social media. We had communicated back and forth a few times. And one of her trips to Columbus, when she was campaigning, I asked her if I could meet with her. And I spent about 3.5 hours with her, and I interviewed her. I had questions ready. I interviewed her very heavily because I like to get involved in politics. I'm a former candidate for state representative in 2020. And oddly enough, I was endorsed by the Ohio Republican Party and the Franklin County Republican Party at that time. Two groups that I've pretty much disavowed over the last year. But in any event, several things impressed me about Heather. She was very intelligent. She knew the issues. And as you said, she's a fighter. She was very determined and still is. And even since then, when she's gone through a lot of harassment, a lot of personal attacks, having been ousted from the primary election. Now, some of that was on a technicality in the law, but they didn't do the right thing. But the irony about it is the fact that they pulled her out now allowed her to be a write-in candidate for the general election. So it kind of backfired on the powers that be. But in any event, I listened to your opening monologue and discussion, and that I think is primarily why I was interested in running with Heather when she asked me. And actually, I didn't even know she was going to ask me when she called me. I thought she had some questions or maybe needed another volunteer for a campaign. So it really did kind of surprise me that she asked me to run with her. But over a week or week and a half after that, we discussed it. I discussed it with my family, and I decided, you know what, if I'm going to attach myself to someone politically, it has to be Heather, because her and I are very much aligned on 99.9% of the issues. And as you said, we both are, I feel like we're both disenfranchised, not only as candidates, but as voters. And all I've seen out of the two parties are just infighting. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't know or your viewers don't know.
Don't get me started on it.
But, all I saw, and I guess basically when I started to open my eyes last year, is all I saw was a political party that I had aligned myself with for years, ever since college, that is just trying to make other Americans, other Ohioans, enemies. Calling members of regardless of political differences, I live in a neighborhood where I would have to say that it's primarily liberal and Democrats, but they're not my enemies. We have political differences, and we view a lot of issues differently, but they're my neighbors. A lot of them are my friends, and I don't like being associated with a Republican Party in Ohio that wants to make all of my neighbors the enemies just to keep their tribe in line. And I feel like the party, that I really once felt very good about and thought we're doing the right thing. Now I feel like they're the party of hate and they're the party of animosity, and they're only focused on winning and making money. And they've forgotten about all the Ohioans that have problems and issues. They're by the wayside, and I can't be a part of that anymore. And I think that where I have to be is the way that Heather is, the way that Larry is that we have to be looking out for what's the right thing to do for the people in Ohio. And I don't mean that as just some sort of goofy, meaningless political statement. I genuinely believe that. I grew up poor. I grew up in one of the poorest sections of Ohio. I know what it's like to work hard, and I've been very fortunate. I'm very grateful to the people that helped me over the years to be able to succeed and start a business and maintain a business. But I don't have anything in common with the billionaires. I don't have anything in common with the people that are wrecking our state, who all live in California. And they don't even live in the state of Ohio, but they're buying their way in, and they're doing an awful lot of damage to a lot of Ohioans. And every week, when I go to the grocery store, I make it a point to kind of seek out other people that I see might be, discussing or having trouble deciding what to buy in the stores. And every single week I run into retired couples, young couples that have small children that are scrutinizing every penny that they spend at the grocery store because they can barely keep their head above water. And we shouldn't be that way in Ohio. But I see no one other than Heather, really making a genuine effort to change what we have in this state, whether it be, the economy, whether it be the environment, whether it be the schools, the education system, which is an absolute wreck. Excuse me. And the other, we have two other candidates in the Ohio Republican Party and in the Democratic Party that are just intent on beating the hell out of one another and winning and making enemies, but no solutions. And if history, all I have to do is look at Ohio. I know you're from Pennsylvania, but you have your finger on the pulse of a lot of states. All I've seen for the last 20 plus years is a lot of promises, and things keep getting worse and worse and worse for average Americans. So,
well, and I'll be honest, I'm a construction guy, right? So, I broadcast at night, have the weekend show, have a business with my son in construction.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things, Patrick, I hear time and time again is, first of all, your average American is competing with foreign invaders in the construction industry, and we are not deporting them fast enough. Second thing is the cost of fuel, the cost of goods are going up, but yet we can't raise our rates because we're competing with these illegal invaders that have just been, either they've come in to your state or they've been dropped into your state by our government. And nobody seems to really be able to grasp that, because what you'll hear from other commentators is gas was $5 under a Biden. It wasn't $5 under Biden in Pennsylvania. It was the same exact price it is now, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
But I voted for Trump and I voted for the Republicans because I wanted lower prices. I wanted these illegal invaders deported from my country in mass deportation. I wanted prices down. And we're not seeing that. And I wanted secure elections. Mm-hmm. I wanted secure elections. And again, John Thune, and the other feckless senators in the GOP refuse to do anything about it. So my fear coming to the midterms is you have a lot of disenfranchised voters, right? A lot of them, right? And that's where they're going to get you. That's where they're going to get Heather, and that's where they're going to get you. They're going to blame it when they lose, when Vivek loses, because let's be honest. What's the governor's name? DeWine.
Yeah, Mike DeWine.
Yeah, Mike DeWine. Welcome in these illegal invaders into your, and they're illegal now, by the way, because their temporary status has been removed. So they're illegal invaders. Welcomed them in, said that they helped build Ohio. Now this is somebody from the GOP, so wrap your brain around this. Help build Ohio. It makes Ohio better, makes it greater. Meanwhile, they're stealing jobs from American citizens that were born here, worked here, love this country. With you and Heather, if you and Heather were you were the lieutenant governor and Heather were the governor, how would we combat this?
Well, I think those are all good points that you brought up, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's too complicated and there's too many moving parts, because honestly, I think it is a lot simpler than people give it. And I think that when we hear people say, oh, it's too complex, it has to be studied more. I just heard that today from someone.
Excuses.
All they're really saying is that we don't want to change it. We like it the way it is now.
An excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse.
It's an excuse to do nothing.
Yeah, but I, with you being in construction and me being in construction, I know we can relate on a lot of this. And it's ironic that you brought this up, because I have today, I've been working at my home a lot instead of my office, and I've been having work done in my house. So I have guys working here that are replacing some concrete and doing brick pavers and some repairs, and working in the front and the back of the house. In fact, I talked to Larry about 20 minutes before we got on, and I was all grubby and dirty, and I took a quick shower because I didn't want to embarrass anybody. And but anyway, we just had the discussion today, or I had a discussion with the owner of the company, because he was saying, he's doing this work here and he can't raise his prices. And because there's these other people that are competing with them that don't even, like you said, there's illegal construction workers out there, but a lot of these guys don't even have licenses. They don't have insurance. They're not bonded. A lot of people don't understand how much overhead there is just to be able to keep even a very small business in operation. And he only employs like 5 guys. I mean, he's a small operation, but he's been in business for a lot of years, and he's struggling. And I think that to answer your question on how do we deal with a lot of this stuff, is that, I mean, to begin with, I think that what comes with a lot of the people that are illegally here, that we have to continue to seek them out and move them out of the country. I don't disagree with that. I may have some, to be honest with you, I may have some disagreements with how it's being done in some places, because I've seen U.S. citizens have their own constitutional rights violated in the process. And believe me, I'm not a fan of secret police, but I think that a lot of this can be done with normal law enforcement and the way it's always been in the past. We don't have to turn it into an action movie. But, that needs to be done. On the construction side of it, I'm working with a lot of people, both union and non-union, that I come in contact with, and just telling them, listen, all you need to do is just ask for the paperwork. Ask for the paperwork on the people that are working, whether it's a company or the workers, and it's a simple operation. And if they can't provide documentation of citizenship, documentation of insurance, then they will disappear. They won't stick around. They'll be gone, and charge what you're worth. And I even advise my clients that all the time, that, you know what, you can find somebody to do it cheaper, but those people are going to be gone next week once they, and after they finish the job. And the legitimate companies will be here. They'll warranty their work, And those are the people you want to build relationships with. Now, those aren't fail-safe solutions, but I think it's the kind of things that I have to impress upon people, because whenever they start just looking at the bottom line dollar numbers, all they're looking at is how cheap are we going to get this done in the beginning, but they don't understand how many problems they're going to have in the long run.
Well, and that's the thing, Pat, to be honest with you, I believe targeting the companies that hire these people.
Yeah.
And finding them out of existence. And I know people are going to go, what are you talking about? No. You know what? There's plenty of like ServPro, like fire restoration companies are the worst with hiring these people. Right? Start finding them out of existence.
Yeah.
You got to target the company. If you want to preserve American jobs, you got to target the company. If the company hires these illegal invaders that don't have, credentials, then you need to find those people. If these people have stolen Social Security numbers, well, you still need to target those companies, because they can do their due diligence on that.
Yeah,
they really can.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But I'll take it a step further. That people need to go back against the insurance companies, because you mentioned like fire restoration. In Columbus here, we have a tremendous amount of storm damage that we're dealing with right now over the last 3 weeks. And if you go back to the insurance companies, in my opinion, and as lieutenant governor, and I think Heather would agree with me, that the insurance companies, if they're going to accept quotes from and be paying money to these companies, they also need to accept the liability of not doing their due diligence and vetting these companies to make sure that they are legal and they are requirements. So I agree with you 100% on that, because money talks. And if you can, and as you know, being in construction, the companies that do insurance work have the biggest profit margins in the business. And it's, once they get into that kind of work, they're making incredible profit, and to hit them where it hurts, which is in their profit, will make them think twice about hiring illegal workers.
Well, and that's the thing. What people don't understand are these fire restoration companies, right? So in your typical construction, right, you have your spring, summer, and we'll say fall, right, peaks, right?
Right.
And then winter's dead. The only time winter's not dead is the fire restoration, right, where people have roofing damage, they have floods, pipes break. So your construction worker, right, your flooring guy, your drywall guy, your tile guy, they're sitting home, right, or slow while these companies are busy, and they're profiting left and right, because you know what, their quotes are high, but they're paying these people peanuts.
Right.
Because I've told people this many times. I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Across the street from me, I call it the Migrant Hotel, because I'm about 45 minutes outside of New York.
Yeah.
Right. So they bring these people in, they drop them off. They're there for anywhere from, 4 months to a year. And they recycle them out. But I see every morning these fire restoration companies coming and picking these guys up at the end of the week. I've witnessed it.
Yeah.
They come and they hand them envelopes. So to any politician that sits there and tells you these people are paying taxes, I have 2 questions for them. All right. So if they're paying taxes, they have to have a Social Security number, and they didn't obtain it legally. So they've stolen it. So they've committed identity fraud. And they're hurting an American citizen. That's illegal right there.
Right.
And to be honest, I think there's probably some that are doing that, but a majority of them are getting paid under the table with envelopes like I see, because the way these fire restoration companies see it is, I'll eat the taxes because I have enough overhead that I can write that off to make up the difference and pay these guys peanuts. Because what people have to realize are these illegal invaders in Pennsylvania, and I don't know how it is in Ohio, but in Pennsylvania, they're getting all types of government subsidies. It's Section 8. I've said this before. I've seen them walk down the street to the food pantry, and each one of them carry back boxes of food.
Yeah.
They're taking that from people that actually need it. They don't need it.
Right.
But they're taking it from them.
Yeah, and those benefits are out there. And who's making those benefits available? The people that we've elected to office. Now, another
Democrats, by the way.
Yeah, another component that I don't think most people are aware of is there's a human trafficking component in this too, in the construction industry. And I've talked to some people at larger construction companies. I've talked to the Carpenters Union representatives about this, but there are lots of times they will bring in, and it's not just the American contractors that are bringing them in, but you'll have these, what I call pop-up construction companies that'll bring these in. They'll bring these guys in. They can't speak English. They, some of them are newly arrived in the country, and they bring them in, and like you said, they pay them peanuts. They work them long hours. They'll put 10 guys in a cheap hotel room and maybe not give them any money for food, and they can't get out, and they want to leave it, but they have nowhere to go. They don't even know where they're at. They don't have they don't have the money to leave. They get threatened, and then they'll do a job, and then they're gone. They're completely gone. And these companies are usually from out of state. And yes, I put a lot of the blame on the larger developers, because most of these guys, at least my understanding is, they're working on apartment projects. And in Central Ohio, we've got apartment projects getting built everywhere, pretty large ones. I'm talking like 150, 200, 300 units. And so those kind of jobs, you might have 75 or 100 people on the job working at any one time. So they'll bring them in. Nobody knows who's on the job. And then they'll abuse the people that are working, and then suddenly they disappear. When the job's done and nobody knows who they were, they have no record of them. And, so this problem I think can be hit a lot of ways. But as you said, when going back to you talking about the idea of finding them, I think that I agree with you 100%. And I think that's an excellent approach, because you can find the construction companies, you can find the insurance companies, you can find because those big projects also have developers that are developing the project. And there's a lot of deep pockets in there on one hand, but on the other hand, there's a lot of reputations that these people try to maintain, and you bring that out into the light. And as we all know, corruption, anybody that's in corruption does not like to have the light shined on them. And those are ways that we can do it. I don't think those are all solutions, but I think they're great strategies to start attacking it until people get the message. And, they start to understand that if they're doing something illegal and they've got illegal workers, that they're going to be next if we find out about them. And I think also that we need to have legitimate, stronger whistleblowing laws, so that people working in those companies and working like with, say, other subcontractors that are working on those same jobs feel comfortable and safe being able to blow the whistle on them without them losing their job or being retaliated against.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you 100%. But I truly believe that the financial implication to these companies is what's going to stop them. When you take away the financial benefit of them hiring these illegal invaders, that's the way to cut the head off of the snake, in my opinion.
And Carl, can I interject something too?
100%, Larry.
Okay, I'm sorry to come on you, but we were sold a bill of goods here in Springfield about these temporary status people coming in taking the jobs. But the numbers aren't backing that up, because 60% of them, if I've got this right, 60% of them were on some type of public assistance, either food stamps, welfare, whatever that the government is tending to hand out to them at that particular time. Springfield became a hub where they would come in here, simply suck up all the benefits they could suck up. When they got their green card, off they went. And I'm sorry, Patrick, I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, I'm glad you did, Larry, because Springfield has, there's some other, I think there's some important issues out there that, and I know you live in the Springfield area, and I've talked, my brother and my sister-in-law live in Springfield, and my brother's a teacher, so he comes into contact with a lot of the children of these Haitians that come in. And you're right, you're absolutely right about the benefits and everything else. But what we always hear on the news is, well, these people are coming in and they're working the jobs that nobody else wants. And to a certain degree, that's true, that they are filling jobs at companies where they couldn't find workers. But the flip side of it is it's put a strain on the available housing. It's driven up rents to be unaffordable. And there's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but there doesn't seem to be any real effort to build new housing, to build apartments and have anybody come in and compete. So you have a lot of people that are making a lot of money off of them being there, but you're not really seeing any real effort to take these people off. If they're working and they're getting paid a living wage, take them off the welfare, off the welfare rolls, the assistance rolls. Yeah. And, I'm not necessarily, philosophically opposed to helping people who need help, to be compassionate, to help people in need. But it's flipped around now where, in my view, they've had plenty of time to put a plan in place, to make arrangements for the people, to move back, that should move back, and to assimilate into the, into the city. But we're not seeing that. It almost, to a certain degree, at all. Well, yeah, to a certain degree, and this might be sort of a bad analogy, but I look back in history when in more recent history, for example, in the war in Iraq, Afghanistan, and those areas where we were in there fighting a war, a lot of destruction occurred, a lot of deaths, a lot of pain, and then we just got up and left and didn't help the people that were there. If you translate that sort of approach to Springfield, okay, you've got the federal government coming in, they're providing assistance, what seems like assistance, transportation, a lot of those different things. But then, in my view, they've just up and left. They're not doing anything to help solve the problems that now the people in Springfield are left to deal with. And we're talking about a city like a lot of Ohio cities that they don't have the money. They don't have big bank accounts. They don't have the high-paying businesses across, high-paying salaries across the board like Central Ohio does. For example, you have a struggling community to begin with, and it's no secret that this is going to put them into a financial nosedive over the next year, 2, 3 years, if something doesn't change. And we can't be the people trying to clean up the federal government's problem.
All right, Patrick, we're coming to the top of the hour. We're going to hit a top of the hour news break, commercial break. Can you stay with us in the next hour?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you, Carl.
Awesome. And Larry, you can hang with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in the next hour, I kind of want to get into immigration and the way we remove these people. And I feel like, Pat, I love you, man, so far, but I think we might disagree on this, because I'm all about lining up catapults along the border wall and launching these people over the wall into Mexico. I don't care. Kids, pregnant women. I don't want any more anchor babies. I don't want any more of that. But the reality of it is a country can't survive with open borders. We're not a country. Right. So we've got to get rid of these people. And a lot of people might not like it, and they might not like the approach. But the reality of it is what happened in Minnesota with the Trump administration when they kind of back down. And I don't want to see people die, so don't get me wrong. But we've got to get rid of these people. We've got to get rid of the corruption because it's at the burden of the American citizen. We're struggling enough as it is, right? And you cannot, the old saying, right? Charity begins at home, right? You can't take care of anybody else till you can take care of yourself. And America right now is so stretched out. We're the policemen of the world. We've had our borders open, through the Biden administration. We've had all these invaders come in. We had Obama put all these Somalians and Haitians in the country. We can't survive this. We've got to have it's the time for happy talk is over. Let me just put it that way, right? We can't have any more happy talk because there's hard decisions to be made in front of us. All the easy decisions are way behind us. We're past that. All the hard decisions are in front of us, and there's people that aren't going to like it. But for the survival of our country and our children, right? We need to eliminate H-1B visas, and we need to have a moratorium, in my opinion, on all immigration in this country for a minimum of 20 years. And I know that's harsh, and I know people don't like to hear it, but that's reality. And after this commercial break, Larry or Patrick, I want to get your views on that. So stand by. We'll be back after this top of the hour break on the Killer Carl Radio Show.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Meta agreed Wednesday to pay $17 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms as part of a landmark legal settlement. At a news conference, California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the settlement is a watershed moment.
Meta has agreed to make significant changes that will reduce the risk of harm that Instagram and Facebook pose to teen users. Daily time limits and blocks on nighttime use that can only be lifted by a parent, limits on notifications during school hours and overnight, an end to displaying the number of likes on a teen's post.
If approved by the court, the deal will stop an avalanche of litigation by states against Meta, although the company still faces lawsuits from individuals and school districts across the U.S. Shrouded in secrecy, there was a visit to Moscow by CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe held talks in Moscow with his intelligence counterparts. The rare visit comes at a time when relations with Washington remain strained over Russia's war in Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesman says Ratcliffe did not meet with President Putin, and there's been no comment from Washington. The Kremlin stresses that Russia-U.S. relations remain in a profound crisis. Their ties sank to Cold War lows after Moscow's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Rich Thomason, Washington.
The U.S. and Canada have ramped up their trade war, hitting each other with steep new tit-for-tat tariffs. Despite the bravado coming from both sides of the border over the past few days, though, analysts suspect the longtime allies will eventually strike a deal to end a conflict that neither really wants. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 113 points, the Nasdaq dropped 21, the S&P 500 down by a point. This is SRN News. Illinois doctors get a reprieve.
The state says it will abide by a court order that bars it from forcing Catholic hospitals and other religious medical practitioners from carrying out or being involved in assisted suicide. Illinois recently legalized the practice, putting some doctors, nurses, and institutions in a position of having to choose between their faith and the law. Peter Breen of the Thomas More Society says, quote, "We will not rest until Illinois' immoral and coercive assisted suicide mandate is struck down for good." Michael Harrington reporting.
Family Research Council President Tony Perkins is just back from a trip to Ukraine where he delivered an address before the National Prayer Breakfast. The gathering included high-level Ukrainian officials. Perkins told the gathering 35 years ago Ukraine swept away atheistic communism, but what has taken its place? Now is the moment for Ukraine to fan the flame of faith in Jesus Christ. This is SRN News.
and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first.
To line one, Mickey in Quakertown. What's up?
Oh my God. You are killing, all right, killing the planet.
By doing what?
Just by talking and breathing your crap lies. I've been sitting here listening to you and your old man information crowd that you had. Oh my God, I've never heard such junk.
All right, Mickey. Have you left your mom's basement yet today? Or in the past year? Or since COVID? Have you left your mom's basement?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that perhaps you go through a lot of Jerkins lotion in your house. I could be wrong. All right. No, Mickey. Tyler, what was that?
I have no idea. I mean, he kind of came out of left field with that one.
They were Quakertown, man.
You're tuned in to the Killer Carl Radio Show.
All right, welcome back to the final hour of the Killer Carl Radio Show. Look, the only reason we're on air is because of our, and the great radio stations that carry us, right? And also our advertisers, you know. And one of our advertisers, if you smoke or you chew tobacco and you want to get absolutely off of that because it's a disgusting habit, all you have to do is go to patriotpouchusa.com patriotpouchusa.com, right? Look, it's an alternative to smoking or chewing, and it's better for you. And if you want to save 10%, use promo code Killer Carl right at checkout, and you're going to get the best deal. And the great thing about this is it's really affordable. It's going to make you healthier. And the guy that owns it, right? Alex Duncan. He's been on here. He's hosted my show. He's hosted my Saturday show. He's a patriot. He ran for U.S. Senate in Texas. An amazing patriot, actually. And he's going to run again, right? Because he wants to save this country against the Muslim invasion that's happening in Texas. Support him. Go to patriotpouchusa.com, patriotpouchusa.com. Use that promo code. Hey, look, if you want to save 10%, you might as well use it. Killer Carl 10. Why not? You don't have to use it, but you could. It's going to save you money. And then my man Jacob from BeyondDetox.com, BeyondDetox.com / Killer Carl radio audience out there. Carl with a C. Carl with a C. Look, if you've dealt with doctors and you're just getting the runaround and you want to take control of your health, book a 20-minute appointment with Jacob. Go to BeyondDetox.com / Killer Carl. Book that 20-minute appointment. Right? If you just want to pray with Jacob, he'll pray with you. You want to talk to him about politics, he'll talk to you about politics. But in the end, you'll realize that Jacob is so knowledgeable about the human body that you'll want to work with him. And on his site, BeyondDetox.com / Killer Carl, he's got an amazing store there with all types of vitamins, minerals, stuff you can't normally get, right? Because it's powerful. And if you use promo code Carl5, it's a reciprocating promo code. You're going to get that 5% off and get some amazing products that will change your life. And if you're looking at something on his site at BeyondDetox.com / Killer Carl, and you have a question, book the 20-minute appointment with him or shoot him an email. He'll answer you. He'll guide you in the right way. Why? Because he cares about your health and he's a patriot. That's why. That's exactly why. All right. With that being said, we'll probably open up the phone lines. I don't know, maybe at 8:30. Maybe 8:30 we'll open up. We'll see how this conversation goes. But if you want to join in, the number is 484-939-9822. And let's bring my man Larry Burnett back in and Patrick Manley. Patrick.
Yes, sir.
I know we had a top of the hour break and my long commercial, but let's get into this, ridding ourselves of these illegal invaders. I call them leeches because they come here because Biden, Obama promised them all types of things. Now they're here. Let's be honest. They suck resources from the American people, whether it comes from the schools, the hospitals, the welfare system. They drain us. That's why I don't really have a lot of compassion. I'm sorry. I don't have, because I've been competing against these people for a long time. And I see the way they don't care. And I see the greedy people that hire them while they're sucking off the system. And I don't have a lot of compassion. And I know it sounds wrong, but I'm honest. So go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. Now, to begin with, I think I need to explain that I don't disagree with you. Okay. I do believe that the illegal immigrants have to be deported. I don't have a problem, since immigration is a federal jurisdiction, I don't have an issue with the federal government going to the different states, doing what they need to do in order to find them. And they do know where a lot of them are. I think they know the location of most of them. I'll put it that way. What I don't like and what I disagree with is not what they're doing, but how they're going about it. And my disagreement, as I alluded to earlier, falls strictly along the lines of where they violated numerous times, and there's a lot of it that's been on social media, a lot of it's been on the news, where they violated the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens. That's where I draw the line, because I don't think that having because they have a mission and they have an objective and they have a legal right to do what they're doing, that does not, in my view, does not give them the right to violate our civil rights. I mean, this goes back to the old saying, and often overused saying of Ben Franklin.
Can I pause you for a minute?
Yeah.
Give me an example. Okay, so we had Phil Murphy in New Jersey, right? Mm-hmm. Classic example. Phil Murphy. We're gonna hide this. Our maid's an illegal immigrant. We're gonna hide her out in the top of our garage. Mm-hmm. Do they have a right to come into Phil Murphy's property and find this illegal invader and deport her?
With a warrant, yeah, but they don't have a right to do it without a warrant. And it's important to understand too that a valid warrant, just like if they were to come to your house or my house for some reason, a valid warrant has to be executed and signed by a judge. What they're doing is lots of times they're not using a warrant at all. They're just working off of a list of names and addresses. Other times they're using what's called an administrative warrant. But an administrative, and they're passing that off as a legitimate warrant, but an administrative warrant is, I'm not a lawyer, but an administrative warrant is basically an order internally within a bureaucracy, within their offices to proceed on some activity, but it's not the same thing as an actual warrant that is required by the Constitution. And that's one area. So I don't have an issue with them going to that person's house if they have a warrant, showing the warrant, and if they're not allowed in, if that person doesn't come out, that they have a right to enter and take that person away. So I have no issue with that. But again, it's not what they're doing, it's how they're doing. As far as other issues go, I've seen it many times on different videos that have been posted over the last year. Just to give you some examples, is there was a woman who was a U.S. citizen who was videoing, on her camera. She was recording everything that ICE was doing in there, and they threatened to arrest her and told her that she wasn't allowed to use the camera. And that's completely illegal. We are allowed to use that. That's been supported by the Supreme Court.
Certainly are.
And so that's one issue. Another time we've had, I've seen multiple instances, but other instances where they've threatened to arrest people because they were watching in the street. They weren't interfering, but they were standing there watching and coming together, and they're telling them they have to leave, that they can't watch, they can't be around here. Well, that right off the bat, we have a right to assemble, freedom to assemble, which is right in the First Amendment, and that includes gathering in public places. And yes, if they are interfering, that's a different story, if they're interfering with law enforcement. But when they're just standing there, that's not the same thing. There's been other cases where people have been threatened with arrest. They've been, for yelling something that, they might not be pleased with what they're doing, but they certainly have a right under the First Amendment to express their displeasure for whatever's been going on. But it goes on and on. There's just been multiple cases. But my whole point is that if they're going to do this, they need to do it legally, because the more that we let, and we've seen this over and over again, the more that we let the government, we give them a little bit here, a little bit more, and they continue to do things where they're the ones breaking the law, then where's this going to end up? Do we really want to be a police state? I mean, these ICE agents, many of them are poorly trained. They don't understand the law. They don't have IDs. They're wearing masks. Is this the country that we want? Do we want to be like the countries in the past who have done this, or do we want to be a country that does our activities up front and in the open? And I don't think that, with rare exceptions where there might be an illegal, who has a violent past or they know has committed a crime here, there might be certain exceptions on that. But when they're going after, like, the maid who might be in an apartment, or the The person who's working as a janitor at the school or working wherever it might be, people that aren't violent, do they need to go to this length to go?
Well,
and I don't think that they do. I don't think
Patrick,
that they should.
I believe, I don't remember exactly where it was from, but there was he wasn't a janitor. He was something at a school, illegal immigrant, had a gun in his car. Right. So as far as masks go, I'm okay with ICE agents wearing masks as long as they identify that they're ICE agents. Why? Because they have a target on their back. And unfortunately, in this country, the radical left has done that. The Marxists have done that to where if you show your face, they're going to put that face out. They're going to find out who you are. They're going to harass you and your family. And I don't think anybody really should have to do that. Now, what I am in favor of is them wearing the body cam.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The body cam. I'm 100%, but when I heard that they weren't wearing body cams, my brain was like, what? Why are they not? Our police have to wear it. Why shouldn't they have to wear it? Right?
Yeah.
So as far as concealing their identity, I mean, to be honest, there's so many libtards out there that are just out there just to cause a ruckus and target these people and destroy them and try to inhibit them from their job. It's a fine line. I'm not going to lie. It's a very fine line because I'm like you. Like, I'm against the Patriot Act. We have had nothing gained from the Patriot Act besides me getting my yam bag grabbed up at the airport when I'm flying somewhere. Or a grandma, I have to take off her shoes and being harassed. And unfortunately, the people that should be targeted, in my opinion, yes, targeted. You heard it. Target it, right? Because there's certain people that fit the bill, and I'm sorry, it's true, right? Some white Irish pasty dude like me, right? What are the chances of me, flying a plane into the like a building, like hijacking it's very slim. Let's be honest. Right. So the reality of it is that I get what you're saying. The Patriot Act, I don't think achieved anything. And I do believe that every time we surrender our rights in the name of safety, we lose both.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And I think that's where I'm coming from. Now, to your point about protecting law enforcement officers so they're not attacked or their families are not attacked. Yeah, that is a fine line and that is an issue. But there's also the problem with the fact that they have no way of being identified even internally I see as a problem. And a simple solution, and this isn't my solution, but it's one that I heard somebody say, is if they want to cover their face and they don't want to have name tags for the reasons you said, which are valid in many cases, that they could wear something that has a code on it, a number, so that if somebody does break the law, they do violate internally in the Homeland Security, they can identify who that officer is without making it public.
Yep. All right. We got to take a quick commercial break. Or body cams.
Yes.
With an ID attached to it. All right. We got to take this commercial break. We'll be back right after this. I want to get in the flock cameras, if you're okay with that.
I love it. It's my favorite.
All right. Let's do it. After this, stay tuned. The phone lines are open, by the way, 484-939-9822. If you want to be part of the conversation, join in. We'll be back after this commercial break.
rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll
Are you tired of weak, woke, whisper politics? Then buckle up, America, because Killer Carl is here, turning politics all the way up for the America First movement. We're exposing the swamp, crushing the globalists, and fighting for the forgotten men and women who built this country. Killer Carl, the most unapologetic, high-octane political show on radio. It'll make your blood pump and your neighbors wake up.
All right, welcome back to the Killer Carl radio show. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Larry Burnett and Patrick Manley, I believe is his last name, joining us for the final hour. We do have a caller. And Larry, are you there? Let me pull you up back into the conversation.
There
Larry.
we are.
All right.
Yes, I am here.
Do we still have Patrick, or is he out?
No, he should be there.
All right. Well, we have a caller, so let's bring the caller on. All right, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Natalie Harp's father from Alaska.
Okay. Go ahead, Natalie Harp's father from Alaska. You have a question for Larry Burnett. Larry, can you tell the caller who you are?
No, I don't. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. Jeez, that's not the guy I'm referring to.
Oh yeah,
I thought the
Patrick.
I thought the other guy was Larry.
No, the other guy's Patrick.
No, he's Patrick, but
what
maybe
is
I
Patrick?
can help
what
you,
is he
sir.
running for? What is his story?
Patrick is running for Lieutenant Governor of Ohio. So he's running as a write-in candidate alongside Heather Hill against Vivek Ramaswamy.
So he's not Republican. He's a write-in.
He's a write-in. He's Larry. Would you say? I would say he's just America First.
America First, I think.
He's
would
too
be a
normal.
fair statement.
You're MAGA. You're supposed to have crazy.
No.
That have.
I'm not. You see, that's the thing. See, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. I get hate from both sides, and it's okay. I'll take it. I'm America First. I just care about America.
Yeah.
I don't.
You mean it's not. You mean America alone?
No,
America alone.
no, I don't, because I mean America first.
Really,
pissing
all over our allies is America first.
You realize that we do more for our allies than they do for us?
Not anymore.
Of course, we still do.
We threaten to invade them. We belittle them. We tell them that they're going to be our 51st state. We cut war game exercises with them at the last minute. We kiss up to their enemies. With an ally like the U.S., who the hell needs an enemy? You got to be kidding me, Carl. Where have you been the past year or two?
You're talking about cutting the war game short with South Korea?
Yeah, because Kim Jong-un, we exchanged love
letters.
letters.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Love letters with Kim Jong-un.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know your name. I wish you would tell me your name, because I'd prefer to call you by your name.
Trent.
Trent. All right, Trent. You know what? I think that was coddling to China. I think that was caving to China.
No, you know what it is, Carl? Gee. Why is it that Donnie seems to love every authoritarian out there, whether it's Viktor Orban or Putin? He loves authoritarians. You know why? Because that's what he wants. He looks up to those guys. He envies them.
Trent,
he wants what they have.
I'll be honest. I don't look at him wanting to align us with Putin or have trade with Russia as a bad thing. Russia has a lot of rare earth minerals. I would much rather, Trent. I would much rather.
Wait.
We have more things aligned. Listen, we have more things aligned with Russia than we do with China. Would you not agree? What did China do to us? They dropped the freaking bioweapon into the United States. They dropped the bioweapon in the United States. We still do business with them.
Does Vladimir Putin have the blood of millions of people on his hands?
Does China?
In some ways, yeah.
No, they have a lot of blood. Do we still do business with China? Do the Democrats coddle to China? Did Tim Walz spend time in China?
Who cares? What does that
No,
have
my
to do with
point
anything?
is
That's
if you want to compare, if you want to do tit for tat, we could do this all day long. What I care about, Trent,
Tim Walz
what I care about
before he was in office.
What about Dianne Feinstein? She had a Chinese spy attached to her the whole freaking time. Go back and look at Dianne Feinstein.
Trump exchanged love letters and fell in love, I'm using his words, with Kim Jong-un. Now, I'm not old enough to remember World War II, but did FDR, did he French kiss or give a reach around to Hitler? I don't remember that.
I don't know, but we brought over a lot of those scientists here.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I don't know. No, they were combatants. They were combatants. The point is
FDR brag about how great?
Well, okay, let me ask you a question, Trent. Let me ask you a question. All those scientists that were engaged in killing the Jews and all these things, should they have been executed? Should they have been executed?
Wait,
should they have been executed? My question is, should they have been executed?
First of all, I'm a German Jew, so I probably know a bit more about this than you do. But all these scientists that helped kill Jews, they were scientists working on rocket systems and other things. How are they killing Jews? Half of them were.
So wait a minute. So they weren't part of Hitler's domination of the world and creating an Aryan system to where Germany would take over everything. No. Were they part of Germany's world domination and destruction of everybody else? Were they part of that?
To some extent,
okay.
But they were.
So should they have been executed?
No.
That's the hypocrisy.
They weren't SS. They weren't SS officers. They weren't camp guards at Treblinka and Auschwitz. Like, they were scientists.
They were part of the problem, right?
You're making no friggin' sense.
Wait, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. So
you've gone off on.
No. So you have Hitler, and you have Germany. And you have him preaching the Aryan race, exterminating the Jews. You have the scientists that are creating systems to take over the world. Not to take over the world.
Kill all the scientists. What does that have to do with anything? My point is, does it make you proud to be American when Trump brags about Kim Jong-un's a great guy. We get along so well. I really like him. We like one another. Does that make you proud?
Well, I'd rather try to negotiate with our enemies at some point.
Wait, I have no problem negotiating or meeting with our enemies, but we have to exchange love letters with them. There's no moral high ground anymore. We don't give a rat's you-know-what about human rights whatsoever. Oh, and Kim Jong-un killed 1 million of his own countrymen. Yeah, we can look past that.
Okay,
no
so Bill Clinton was all about going over and creating NAFTA and sending jobs to China. You had Tim Walz, you have Dianne Feinstein. You have all these people aligned with China that have had that. Actually, China. China has. Wait, hold on.
What does that have to do with anything?
1 minute. China has more blood, more American blood on their hands than any other country. They do. They have the fentanyl. They have the fentanyl, and they have the bioweapon that they dropped in this country.
Let me make this simple for you. Take someone like Putin. Good guy or bad guy? What is Putin? A good guy or a bad guy?
I think
Putin
is Russia first. I think he's Russia first.
Is he a good? Okay, is he a good guy or?
I don't know. Let me ask you a question. Is Benjamin Netanyahu? Let me ask you a question. Is Benjamin Netanyahu a good guy or a bad guy?
As someone who used to live in Israel, Netanyahu has done a lot of really good things, but he's done a lot of shit things to keep himself out of jail. And what happened in Gaza, Israel had every right to go back and attack Hamas, but did Netanyahu go over the top? Yeah, absolutely. And it was wrong.
Do you think they drug us into the Iran war?
I think
I'm going to tell you, Netanyahu duped President Trump. Listen, I'm not an apologist for President Trump. If that's what you're trying to get me on, I'm not.
Yeah.
You don't obviously haven't listened to my show. I'm not.
No, I don't listen to it. Netanyahu is a smart guy. He realizes Trump is a friggin' moron, and it's a limited window of time that we'll have a moron in the White House. So
Joe Biden wasn't a moron. Wait, hold on. And Joe Biden wasn't a moron?
Compared to Trump, he's a
He
Rhodes
sold
Scholar.
our freaking country out to China and Ukraine. He's got the
can
biggest.
You stop?
No.
Can you stop
see, here's
jumping
the thing.
around? You're like all over the place. It's like this is like I feel like I'm trying to nail Jello to a wall here.
Well, no, because you don't want to hear anything that compares. You see, my whole point is all of our politicians up to this point have sold America out. Democrats, Republicans.
Well, and they're all.
Let's be honest.
And you told me last night they're all pedophiles too, because Bill Clinton was. So therefore, all politicians are pedophiles.
All right, let me ask
Remember
you a question.
That nugget of brilliance?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Robert Mueller, if he found something on President Trump, right? He pretty much gave President Trump a rectal exam. No.
You're racking up the miles here.
Well, you brought up the pedophile thing, so I'm just asking you a simple question. Robert Mueller, right? Did he not have the ability? He had the ability to investigate anything. He had access to everything. If he would have had something on Trump, if he would have had something on Trump involving Epstein, it would have been out.
That was
because that would have completely outside. He had no, dude. Go back and look.
The Republican conservative Bob Mueller, that one.
Oh,
that was
come
the guy
on!
That was
Give me a
out.
break, dude. Now you're reaching for it.
He wasn't a Republican.
It doesn't matter, dude. They all play for the same freaking team. Trump's been Listen,
right?
No, Trump's been investigated. Let's be honest. He's been investigated and he's been railroaded more than any other president in the United States. And let me tell you something.
Well, when you're
just bring it
a
back to
crime
this.
spree, what do you expect to happen?
Okay, Bill Clinton wasn't on a crime spree selling access to the White House to the Chinese. Come on, give me a break, dude.
If you took
all of these freaking politicians are scumbags. Here's an
analogy. Nixon, okay, Nixon did the equivalent of stealing a pack of gum from 7-Eleven. Okay, Trump has robbed 10 million banks. It's not even comparable. To compare corruption that Clinton did, and he did some, I'm sure.
They all
he's
did
a
it.
Novice.
Joe Biden's family. Joe Biden's family was involved in corruption up to their freaking nose. Hunter Biden was selling paintings.
Hunter, what role?
Give me a break,
what position in the government? What position did Hunter Biden have in our government?
Well, I don't know. He was sitting into Oval Office meetings.
None.
When it came to Joe Biden losing his mind,
what was his position in our government? Nothing.
I know, but he was selling access to his father, so it doesn't matter. He was acting on the behalf of a foreign government. He was acting on the behalf of a foreign government to lobby. Okay, so you're going to act like you're going to wait. Hold on 1 minute.
Let's think about the investigation. Think about the investigation that Jordan and Comey did.
We're coming to the end of the show.
They came up with nothing.
All right, go ahead.
Secret informant. They came up with secret informant and whistleblowers. They didn't come up with diddly. They proved nothing.
They never
put on
proved
a good
anything.
show for a year and a half.
All right, Trent.
Right. So
call in tomorrow. We're coming to the end of the show.
Where's all this proof? Where's all this proof of the Biden crime family?
There's plenty of proof out there. There's plenty of proof.
Really? Tell me.
Oh yeah, there's tons of it. All right, Trent. We're gonna Trent.
Is there as much proof?
Call back in tomorrow.
As the stolen 2020 election?
Oh yeah, there's tons of proof. I can tell you right now, Trent, we're not going to get in this tonight. We're not going to get into it tonight because we're coming to the end of the show. I want to give Patrick.
Do you think the moon is made of cream cheese?
All right, dude, let me ask you a question. If the governor changes election laws unconstitutionally in Pennsylvania in the middle of the night and extends mail-in ballots and extends no signature, no date verification, is that rigging an election? Just come on, dude. Give me a break. I'm not talking about the freaking machines. I'm talking about what governors did. And to be honest, the Republicans the Republicans in Pennsylvania. The Republicans in Pennsylvania are compliant to it.
What about the Italian satellites changing votes?
No, I don't believe in the machine shit. So you're not going to get me on that. I don't believe in that. What I believe in is that the governors unconstitutionally.
Donnie believes it.
Well, Don can believe whatever he wants, right? I'm independent. I'm an independent thinker. I'm not here to carry water for Donald Trump. I'm not here to do that. That's not what my show's about.
You kind of do to a large extent.
I don't. You don't listen enough because I get hate from both sides, and I don't really care. I love it.
Wait. I want to go back to something you said at the beginning of this show, and I'm sorry to jump I'm going to impersonate you by jumping around. You said before about Darlene Graham that John Thune got her elected. Are you high? It was all.
Where do you think? Where do you think all the money comes from? Who do you think controls the purse strings?
Who?
John Thune. Wait a minute. John Thune was all about Darlene Graham. He was all about Darlene Graham. Now Trump's being duped again.
Insane.
What do you mean I'm insane? I'm 100% on point, dude.
Okay, so
that's the problem. All right, Terry, I want to call back tomorrow. Call back tomorrow. Hold your thought. Call back tomorrow. I want to give Patrick a chance to just close. We're coming to the end of the show. Thank you so much for your call, dude. Great call. God bless. Hope you have a great time in Alaska.
Yeah, have more normal people like Patrick and not the crazy people you usually talk to.
Okay. All right. That was fun.
Can I ask Patrick a question?
Go ahead. Patrick, can you still hear him?
Patrick.
Yeah, I can hear it. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear Patrick?
Patrick, I'm in.
Go ahead, just ask.
You can't hear me?
Just go ahead. I can hear you.
I'm a never Trump Republican. Patrick, do you consider yourself in the same mold?
I've never considered myself that, but I've also never considered myself a MAGA. So I don't identify myself either way, but I can tell you this, okay? And this is I'm being straight up with you. I voted for Trump 3 times. I campaigned for him. I donated to his campaign at one time. I did think that at one time, despite his flaws, that he was going to do a lot of good things. When he started to renege on his campaign,
I'm shocked to hear that.
Do the complete opposite of what he promised he would do. When it started hurting Americans, I no longer supported him. And I don't support the people in the party that have blind loyalty. So to answer your question, I don't fall one way or the other. I don't view myself that way, but I can definitely tell you that I'm not happy with what he's done. And I no longer support, I can't support him in that mode anymore. Has he done a few good things? Sure. Yeah. He closed the border. I'm happy for him doing that. He has captured a lot of illegals, but as I said earlier, it's the methods that I have a problem with, not the goals. But I don't think that he's serving the American people. And if anything, I think that he's self-serving. He's trying to enrich his family, something that he complained about Joe Biden on. And I think he's totally lost. I think he's part of the New World Order. In fact, he's, with whatever it is, the World Peace Board that he spent some $10 million of taxpayer money and appointed himself the head of. I think that's a strong indication that he is not.
You mean the thing in Gaza, the for peace in Gaza? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, it was under the auspices of that, but it's actually, the goal is to expand it further than that. And then I don't think it's any coincidence that his son-in-law is heading up a lot of those negotiations, and he wants this to be over so that they can develop real estate in Gaza. And so that's what I mean. Every way.
Well, that's Kushner. That's the problem I have, right? Kushner, his son-in-law.
Yes.
Right. He wasn't supposed to be part of this second Trump administration, because in this great book in Trump time that I have here by Peter Navarro, if you read the book, while Peter Navarro was trying to negotiate for PPE in the United States, Kushner undercut him with a deal from China. The next thing you know, there's a plane landing on the tarmac with overpriced PPE from China. I don't trust Kushner as far as I could throw him. And I'll be honest, I've said this, and I get hate from both sides, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm not an apologist. There's just like you. There's things I like Trump did. I probably would have done things like the mass deportation a lot quicker. I wouldn't have backed down in Minnesota. I would have probably kept going. And there's things like the Iran war. I don't agree with the Iran war. I think after Operation Midnight Hammer, should have declared victory and been done. He got duped by Benjamin Netanyahu. Sorry. That's what happened. That's the reality. Now, is Joe Biden corrupt? 100%. They're all of our politicians. Let me just break this down for everybody. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow. All of our politicians in Washington and previous presidents, they're all freaking corrupt. All of them. Every single one of them. The reason that they keep on getting elected, the reason you've got Mitch McConnell, the reason that you've got Chuck Schumer, the reason that you've had Nancy Pelosi, the reason that you have Jerry Nadler, the reason that you have Mitch McConnell and Tom Cruise and all these people, it's because the deep state apparatus wants them there.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a normal citizen that actually wants to go there and make a difference, you are snuffed out. Just like Heather Hill, just like Royce White, just like Mike Lindell, and I could go on and on. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you're pointing out, Carl, and maybe this would have been a better answer to give to your call-in, is that to me, it's not about the candidate. It's not about the elected Trump or no Trump or whatever it might be. To me, and I think I speak for Heather Hill as well, and I speak for Larry, what the priorities should be are the U.S. Constitution and the U.S. citizens in that order.
Yeah.
Not about a president, not do I like this, not about a party. And that's where I became frustrated and eventually tired of it, because I looked at all these people that I thought I knew for the last 20 years that were supporting Trump, and I was too, that when Trump started veering off of everything that he promised, they stuck with him like dogs following their owner. And I was saying, wait a minute, that when they start conflicting with the Constitution, conflicting with what the needs of U.S. citizens are, and no longer putting America first, I had to draw the line somewhere. I just really had to.
And let's be honest, there are some good things that Trump did. And I think we're better off with Trump than we would ever been with with Kamala Harris. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be kidding me. Joe Biden was a disaster. And sorry, Trent, you can call back tomorrow. We can discuss whatever you want if you want. But I'm not going to agree with you that Joe Biden wasn't corrupt. Bill Clinton wasn't corrupt, because we can go back and there's plenty of receipts. George Bush was corrupt. Let's be honest. They all were.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the unfortunate part about it. Our government was designed for your average citizen to go in and serve for a few years. That's why we need term limits, by the way, in the Senate and the Congress. Mm-hmm. Your average citizen was designed to go in and serve their country, right? And then go back into private life. We don't have that. We have lawyers graduating from Yale and all types of colleges and going right into politics.
Yeah.
And it's just a never-ending career. They go from politics, to the CIA, and then they bounce from the CIA to, media companies, and it's just a never-ending cycle. And you get propaganda from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we end up with. And it's a divide and conquer strategy. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. That's what the DSA is about. That's what the dividing us on political parties. It's about dividing our ideology.
Yeah.
And not having us realize that on most of the things we agree on. Mm-hmm. Right? I want less government intervention in my life. I want to be left alone. I want to be able to raise my family. I want the American dream. And that's it. Mm-hmm. Most people, I think, if you asked them that, if you polled them on that, I think they'd be, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
With that being said, Larry, you're an absolute hero, brother. I love you. Thank you for introducing me to Patrick. Patrick, make your closing argument, because we've got a few minutes left in the show, and tell people, first of all, where they can find you, mm-hmm. and how we can help you and Heather Hill, because I absolutely love Heather Hill. She's absolutely amazing.
She is. Well, thank you, Carl. To begin with, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you, Larry.
Sure.
Heather Hill, and let me back up a little bit. In Ohio, all the things you said about, and much of what you said was on a national basis, but that applies to Ohio very much. In Ohio, and Heather has been run through the ringer time and time again, but they can't stop her. She is just too tough, and she won't quit. And that's important. And I think that's exactly what we need for a governor. But let me quickly on Ohio. A lot of people don't realize outside of the state that Ohio has been under total Republican control for the last 16 years. Two-term governors. The Ohio Supreme Court has a Republican majority. The Ohio General Assembly, both the Senate and the House, have a supermajority in the Ohio General Assembly, and every state office is run by Republicans. Now, from a Republican standpoint, that's great, but what it's done is it's led to some of the worst corruption in our history. We have a First Energy. We have the former Speaker of the House, sitting in prison doing a 23-year prison sentence for a $60 million bribe that wrecked the state. And I could go out, there's others, but in any event, Heather is running and as a write-in candidate, and you can go to her website that says fightlikehill.com, fightlikehill.com. And there's a lot of information about Heather, some of her policies and other information. And there's also a link on there where you can make contributions to the campaign, which we would really appreciate. And the thing about Heather is, and I've alluded that before, is the fact that she, even though she's a conservative and she's a Republican like I am, she is fed up with neither party doing anything. And here we are with our own Republican Party that's had total control of our state, total control of the budget, total control of every state office, and control of much of what happens in the counties. through all of the grants that are going on, and yet our whole state is going downhill. We're being overrun by Silicon Valley data centers that are causing, destroying the water table, contaminating water. People that live near these data centers, they talk about how it never gets dark. It's like daytime, 24/7. The sounds, the noise, the heat that comes off of it. We've got, I know we didn't really get to the flock cameras, but that's one of my favorite subjects right there.
Well, we can have you on again for that, but real quick, where can people find you? Because we're coming to a hard out.
Okay, well, you can also find me on Facebook. Pat Manley for Lieutenant Governor on Facebook, or you can come to my just my personal site, which I use, which is Patrick Manley. It's easy to find, and I don't block people. The only time I block someone is when they use extremely foul language or if they try to harm someone. But so I let a lot of comments come through, but by and large, we're getting more and more support across the state. And those are the best ways to reach me.
All right, there you go. Follow Patrick. Follow Larry Burnett. Tomorrow, we have Casey Parker from the American Cattle Alliance, right? You've seen her on my Saturday morning show. She's going to break down why bringing in that Argentinian cattle is so destructive to the cattle industry. We'll catch you back here tomorrow night on the Killer Carl radio show, 7 o'clock to 9. We'll open up the phones in the 9 o'clock hour. Tune in. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Carl.
What a great show. Thank you, guys. God bless.
God bless.
God bless you, buddy.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Meta agreed Wednesday to pay $17 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms